Here we are with the before and the after of this wig. I think it's really worthwhile to give those bangs a little trim and a little bit of a thin and give it a much more natural look. So I'm going to trim the bangs on this wig on a mannequin head. Now this is a mannequin head and I bought this one quite cheaply from Amazon. I think it was about $50, and we're going to try and cut those bangs. Now some equipment that you're going to need for this is some T-pins and one of the pinking shear type little scissors and a nice pair of sharp scissors just for doing the fringe. And you'll also need a comb or a brush or a really fine tooth comb depending on the wig and how long the hair is that you're going to be trying to cut. Now you might also want a few little clips to clip the hair away from the fringe so that you're not cutting the wrong parts. So here we have that really cheap wig from Shein, and I'll just let you see the cap. It's a very basic type of cap construction and it doesn't have a nice lace front like this one does. But still, for like $19, I'm going to make the best out of this wig. So give your wig a comb through before you start, even though we're only cutting the bangs on this wig, just to make sure that you've got all the hair in the right place before you start to cut. And one of the most important things when trimming a wig is the combing. So we've given it a little comb here, and now I'll pop it onto the wig head and we'll give it another comb and make sure that all those hairs are in the right place before we start to cut. Now when you look at the wig on the mannequin head, the bangs look pretty good already. But if you purchase this wig, these bangs might look absolutely perfect on you. You may not need to do anything to them, but I'm needing to because they are too long. So now I'm going to separate it out. I'm just going to put a few T-pins to hold this wig on, although it feels pretty secure on there, but just in case, because you don't want it slipping, because if it changes its position, that might change where you cut. So here we go, we're going to comb this again. Make sure that we're getting all the fringe out from here. That's looking pretty good, so I'm going to clip all of this up out of the way. Just like that. And again, the same thing to the other side, making sure I've got all the fringe out and that I've separated these longer hairs. And again, I'm just going to give that a little twist, and I'm going to hold that back with one of these little clips. So now I'm going to give this fringe a really good comb, because you want it all to be laying the way that it should. You don't want some of it sitting up and being short, because if you cut it when it's short, it may not look as good. One strand here. Probably wouldn't matter if I just cut that one strand, but let's just put it back where it's safe anyway. Now that I've given this a really good comb, I'm going to gather those pieces up, make sure I've got them all from underneath. And then I'm going to give that a twist. And the feather technique is just tiny little snips going one way and then changing the angle of the scissors and then going in the other direction. And remember, I'm only cutting a centimetre off to start with. And I'm just going to feather it like that as I cut it. I know some people cut straight across with the first cut. You can do that as well. But I'm just going to feather that first. I'm not needing to take a lot off. Now let's see how we've gone with that. By giving it the twist, you get it to have a much more natural shape. So that's looking really nicely feathered there. But I'm going to try the wig on now, and I'm going to make sure that the length of that fringe is where I'm wanting it to be. Now I think the bangs on this wig are already starting to look better. They're already starting to take shape, but I need to trim them a little bit more. So I've trimmed those bangs a little bit more. It's looking pretty good. If you were somebody who had a heat-friendly wig, you could try and put a little bit of height in those bangs so you wouldn't cut them off anymore, because when you put a bit of height into those bangs, it's going to raise them up probably just about to where you want them. But this wig is not heat-friendly, so unfortunately I can't really do that with this wig, so I'm going to trim those bangs a little bit more. Now this fringe is looking pretty good now, and all I want to do now is slightly thin it so that there's a little bit more skin seen underneath, a little bit more air in the fringe fibres. So when you do thin out a wig, you just use these little pinking shears because they've got a serrated thing along here so that you're not cutting a whole lot at once. So I'm going to take the top layer of the fringe and I'm going to pull that back. And I'm going to secure that back so that I don't cut into it. Otherwise you can get a line across the top fibres of your wig where you have cut, and it can be quite visible. So always leave some layers to pull back down over the top of the area that you're thinning. So here we are. Just going to do that in sections. So I'll do this part. Now always take this flat on to the wig cap as close as you can possibly get, just bringing it right down close to the base of the wig, one cut, and then just pulling away, one cut and pulling away. You can see there the hairs on that. There's not a lot, but it's just going to thin it out that little bit. That is going to make it look more natural. And again, the other section. Just pulling away. And you can see some more. One cut and pulling away. And that's all I'm going to take out. Now here's the finished product. I'm pretty happy with this. When you do a fringe, it's to your own taste. Now this is called a dirty bang. Now I'll wear this wig for a few days and I'll see whether I want to adjust that and make that a little bit shorter. But at the moment I'm quite happy with it. And if you want to get it off your face, just get the comb and just give it a flick up and get some air into there. And I think that's a really nice look. So give it a go. If you want to trim the bangs on your own wig, start off with a really cheap wig, because it's an experiment and you don't want to ruin one of your really expensive wigs. So far so good. I think this is a really great budget wig. So here we are with the before and the after of this wig. I think it's really worthwhile to give those bangs a little trim and a little bit of a thin. This is a brand new wig. It's still got a little bit of box hair, but really it's looking pretty good now that I've thinned and trimmed that fringe. So I hope this video has been helpful to you. There's a lot of fabulous footage out there from other YouTube makers on how to thin a wig, how to cut the bangs, how to put bangs in a wig that doesn't even have any. So get out there and really educate yourselves. It'll give you confidence and it'll give you a new sense of freedom. And YouTube's going to have a video selected just for you.